So the different use cases we have for the system presently is that we use the space for 3D immersive multi-user experience. We have a lot of different disciplines in engineering that basically interact in this space to do design reviews, to do hazard identification and risk assessment. But also we use this space for visualizing the back deck of our vessels, where we have some quality conversation around health, safety and environment, where we go around and do a risk assessment on the different elements of the back deck of the vessels. One of the key features as well is the ability to have a TV on the side of the big screen of the 3D active space, where we can actually show drawings. We can have like a team meeting session as well. So we can have a space where we show a detailed PowerPoint presentation or something while being in an immersive 3D experience on the other end, so that we can share in a collaborative space. The typical user is somebody that's basically working with the drafting department and also our lead engineer that leads the conversation around the design reviews. We also have people that engage with the client because we can showcase some of the previous work we've done on the same type of vessel or the same type of field, pre-work in 3D, and so this is basically your typical user. When we started to engage in VR, we had very much the use case where we had individuals with a headset and their computers. The problem with that is that we couldn't have a multi-user system where several people could engage at the same time. And so what we have now in the room available to us is a system where we can have up to 20 people and allowing us to show an immersive active 3D space, and in order to be able to collaborate and retain your line of sight as you do collaboration. So the value has been realized by the end users, and this is really what we want from a system like that. We want to empower different users into finding the use case for and realize the value of a system like this. So we just had a design review in there, and one of the key elements was like, people were like, oh, if we had this before, or hey, we realized so much more using this system than using our traditional 2D review or PowerPoint review system. So this is one of the key value that I would say we found. They don't realize they have a 3D theater inside the walls of Subsea7. But when it goes further, when we show them that they can actually be tracked, interact into a 3D scene, being immersive, being immersed, and being able to interact and retain your line of sight also with your other collaborators, they're like amazed. And the fact that they can walk physically from one space to another is something they don't realize they can do. So sometimes they will stay put in one place while trying to navigate in 3D. And when you tell them you can actually walk, they're like, oh, like they have the aha moment, which is pretty interesting to see. So when it comes to workflow and how do we introduce this room and this system with the workflow that we currently have in Subsea7, I would say it's a two-way street in the sense of we have a workflow that we know where there is value, which is the design review, which is the hazard identification and risk assessment meetings. However, in order to make them like a systemic part of the process, it's something that we're still building, and we have like buy-in from the leadership to make that happen. But we still have the aha moment, and it's like, okay, we need this in every meeting kind of deal. So we're still working on that, having part of the process, but the value is definitely proven at that point. My favorite capabilities of a system like this is to allow different users to retain their line of sight while they collaborate in that immersive 3D space. Something that's not doable with a VR headset unless you have somebody else within a VR headset. And so that makes the introduction to virtual reality much easier for all the users. That, and also the fact that you can be very close to the screen, or to the screen, the physical screen itself, and not project a shadow to the screen, because so far the projector being so close to the screen as well. Some of the capabilities that I like that I couldn't go without now would be the ability to have that collaboration in immersive 3D space with multiple users. We could also have a remote user logging in from Europe, for instance, It's in seeing, collaborating in that space together while being in 3D immersive is something we cannot do without anymore. So we have that capability of having a VR headset as well. However, it's not as inclusive, hence why a system like this is something that definitely cannot go without now. One of the key benefits of having a system like this, especially during design reviews or hazard identification risk assessment session, is the fact that you save time. And not only that, but like you are able to foresee things that if you had just to look at a 2D drawings or a 3D model on a 2D screen, you wouldn't be able to see. We have that example a little bit earlier this morning where people are like, oh, I didn't notice that this element was almost clashing with another element. And it's something that without an interaction that we had in there, we wouldn't be able to see it as quick as we did today. One of the key benefits is basically to have that iteration, that rapid iteration between modelizing something, seeing it in 3D immersive situation, and then being able to go back to the design board, say, hey, okay, we've noticed such and such clash, we got to fix them. And during the traditional process with that system, we would have to do multiple reviews at multiple times. So this basically quicken the process, shorten the process between iteration of designs. When installing this kind of system, it is important to actually have a couple things. You need to have like the understanding of, first of all, can you scale that? So we have one room here in the US in the Gulf of Mexico, in Houston, but can we do this anywhere else? Yeah. So having a partner that being able to scale that worldwide, then have a distributor center, maybe or pieces available, equipment available worldwide is key, and that's very key. Doing plate design reviews or fabricator subsea structure design reviews is a great example because you can operate the model, the 3D model, given some constraints of movement. You can pull up drawings as well, fabrication drawings, so it will double check what the model looks like, how to interact with, in comparison to the model, the 2D drawings that you have. You can have that collaboration piece between different disciplines into the same room, which is key. And ultimately, I would like to see a room like this in pretty much all the different offices that we have, for them to realize the added benefits and the added value that you have by just having a room that allows you to not only interact in 3D, but be in 3D, knowing that most of the pre-phase offshore is in 3D. And so being able to be in that immersed environment and collaborate in this, I think, is the key to the future.